Hello, everyone. Welcome to Body of Christ Real Talk. I really want to talk about something very important. Let's get into this. Hello, welcome to the show. This is your host, Joseph Brownlee of Body of Christ Real Talk. I want to talk about this all-meat diet that I'm on. I know I usually talk about that on Super Saturdays for the ones that usually listen to my show, but, off and on, I'm going to get in and going to update you on things, what's going on with my health as well as weight loss, during this carnivore diet. Now, what I want to talk about now that inspired me just to off the cuff talk about this now is I just heard a message from this YouTube guy that's called The Champion Within, that recently suffered a stroke, and he's been on carnivore. I don't know how long, but I think about a year, maybe as long as me. Suffered a stroke, and usually there's a lot of people that attacks the all meat carnivore diet. Most of the time it's out of ignorance, and it's out of the old cholesterol too high and fats are bad type of theory and scenarios that most people attack it without any evidence back up. Most of it is all observational, not scientifically proven. But anyway, I'm not here to get into that. I just want to talk about something. When you on a low carb or even a no carb diet for a considerable amount of times. Now, it might be shorter for other people, but just say, when I listened to this young man, the first one I seen, sometimes it's some of the clickbaits on YouTube kind of bothers me because, you kind of get used to it, but you don't know where they're going to go with it, especially when it's pertaining to the carnivore diet, which is a no carb, all meat, fat, protein diet. Okay. And I wanted to hear this guy's message because I like to hear the pros and the cons of the carnivore diet, because there's cons as well as there's many pros about being on this diet or any diet. But we're talking about the no-carb carnivore diet, the one that I'm on. And he gave his message. I'm not going to get to that now and everything. But what he broke it down to was this. Many people will think his stroke recently was caused by the carnivore diet. I'm sure many vegans and other dieters would probably say that without any proof or any scientific proof or nothing. They just throw it out there. And probably many doctors as well, maybe. And he broke it down. Why? The important thing is why he feel that he had this stroke. This is not scientific proof, but he felt why he had this stroke. And he's not blaming the carnivore diet. He's basically, according to him, he's basically blaming getting off and cheating on the carnivore diet. What do I mean by that? You can so-called cheat or break the carnivore diet, which is predominantly just all meat and no carbs, okay, including no-carb beverages and stuff like that. People cheat by maybe eating a pizza or maybe eating a hot dog with bread or eating potato chips or even eating a piece of cake. That usually doesn't affect most people too much, but some it does, and they get sick. When you eat no carbs and all of a sudden you go back to ultra processed, even if it's just one cheat meal, you may call it, it affects some people more than others. But this young man, that bless his heart, he was very honest. He went to the extreme. In other words, he's a truck driver, and the bad eating that a lot of truck drivers go through. Not all, but a lot of truck drivers eat bad because they're on the road all the time, and they got these bad fried chicken and all these donut truck stops and stuff like that. Not all, but, a lot of them pick up weight when you're a truck driver. A lot of men, and maybe women too, pick up weight because of the bad eating. They have a really bad diet. But when you're on the carnivore diet and a no-carb diet, it's tough to be a truck driver and eat right, unless you pack up a lot of stuff because you're on the road a lot of time. And this is just my opinion. But I can see that being bad to be on a low carb. Even a keto diet is really tough, but I think you have more of a chance with the keto or even an Atkins diet than a carnivore diet because it's just strictly meat, protein, and fats. You might cheat on the beverages. It's a chance you might cheat on beverages because you just can't buy any type of drink or juices and nothing like that when you're on this all meat diet like I am. Well, anyway, he went not kind of, but extreme, because he was honest. He was eating a lot of donuts and candy bars and all kind of junk. And he was honest about, he was lying to the YouTubers about him and his carnivore. And he didn't want to get into the strictness of him falling off the wagon, eating a lot of junk and a lot of carbs and different things like that. So let me get more deeper in there where I'm going with this, because I had a little experience with that not too long ago. And that's what I'm going to talk about on this little short health update of Body of Christ Real Talk, Health Talk. So let's get into this real talk. This young man inspired me. What do I mean by that? When he was because of his honesty, of his so-called cheating on the carnivore diet. And you have a lot of bots out there. You have a lot of people that just watch you. I call them carnivore police people that watches every move, especially if they follow you. That's the kind of the con of being on YouTube, as well as podcasts as well, but on YouTube because it's more visual. And you have certain followers. Most people are very community-wise. They're very good, and they just follow you. Then you have some people that agree with everything you say, which is a bad thing, and they try to copy what you do, which is a bad thing. You have to. This is your body, and then you have the ones that just judge you for everything, and then you have your anti-all meat eaters that's always going to say, "I told you so. I told you so," including family members. So that's what you deal with when you're on this type of a diet compared to a lot of other diets. It's just something challenging when it comes to the low carb, no carb diet that really gets the bad deal, undeservedly. But anyway, his honesty of him saying, and he went real extreme. I mean, he was talking about how many donuts he ate, candy bars and everything like that. And so he can be honest and straight up, not only to his audience that follow him on YouTube, but so people can understand. And his mind, it has nothing to do with the carnivore diet. Now, it was another lady had a stroke also. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because if you hear about certain people with strokes on the carnivore diet, which I want to hear from the ones that had a stroke while being on the all-meat carnivore diet and never had no other comorbidities. What do I mean by comorbidities? They never had AFib, or he had something to do with, what they call that? Irregular heartbeat, which can cause strokes or something like that. Or some people have diabetes, or they have cancer, or they have osteoporosis, or they have a lot of back problems, or a lot of everything like that, or even drug addiction. Someone that don't have other comorbidities that had a stroke. Wow. During the carnivore. Never had a stroke in their life. Felt good, but had a stroke during the carnivore diet. Those are the ones I would like to hear from, not the ones that had no other comorbidities. And the reason I'm saying that, because the few people that I had, the 3 people that I know of that had somewhat strokes, had strokes before, except one, but they had other comorbidities. So that's why they say they don't believe it's the carnivore, because they had those strokes before. So was it the carnivore? I don't think so, but I don't have no proof. But the thing is, that's very important to find people that had a stroke since during the carnivore and have not had any strokes or anything or any comorbidities. It came after the carnivore. I haven't heard any of that happening as of yet. It's usually someone that already had an issue in their health before they went into the carnivore diet, was doing well, and then they done something, and then it came back. Well, the point is, this young man is blaming his stroke from stress on the truck driver and his bad eating. He went extremely. Most of what he was eating was junk, sweets. You know how poisonous sugar is, and he blamed it on that. Because he had his cholesterol levels and everything checked and everything. All those are good. So it had nothing to do with his blood pressure was high because of his stress and his AFib. His heart was beating over 160 something per minute, which is crazy. And his blood pressure was over 200 something, over 180, which is almost like you walking dead. So all that has to do with his AFib and everything like that, and his bad eating. He believed that's what caused his stroke, not the carnivore diet, because his LPN and his other cholesterol levels and stuff like that checked out very well. Okay, besides that, I want to tell you a little story about myself. Last week, I wouldn't say cheating, but it's cheating if you are a full 100% or 95% carnivore that's watching you. Because you are a lion dieter or a carnivore, their liquids is basically water or something like that, or maybe a little coffee, okay, with no sugar, unsweetened, which I still don't like that taste, so that's another story. But, last week, and I mean, I went hardcore, and my challenges on this diet is not the meat that I eat, because I do very well on that, and basically a lot of eggs and red meat, ground beef. But my beverages, I have a challenge with, because I like taste and I like sweetness. It ain't got to be super sweet, but certain type of sweetener. So it's still somewhat of an addiction with me with a sweet taste. That's still an addiction with me. And that's only in the beverages. Okay, so that tells you how addictive sugar can be, or just the sweetener or imitation of sugar. Well, anyway, make a long story short with 4 minutes left, because I want to get into this more and compare it to the spiritual downfall you can also have when you start studying and reading your Bible and praying. But anyway, I consumed, someone gave me a Diet Pepsi, which I said I wasn't going to drink again, and I failed on that. I drunk that Diet Pepsi. I was going to give it to somebody, but I drunk that Diet Pepsi. Everything was all cool with that. And I believe that's why I bought another one. So I bought another Diet Pepsi, and all the hidden stuff that's in Diet Pepsi, stuff like that. It's really no good. Sometimes it's considered even worse than a regular Pepsi or regular Coke. So just say within the last week, I drunk a couple of Diet Pepsis, and I bought 2 Diet Cokes, including my Zivia. Zivia is it's a soda that's sweetened with stevia. That's why they call it Zivia. So I was drinking a lot of carbonated soda within a few days. I mean, I was drowning, and it tasted so good. So I got hooked on drinking that Diet Pepsi and that strong taste, because usually the reason I do that, because I like to burp, and sometimes water with electrolytes does not do it and nothing like that. I just need to burp because of consumption of the heavy meats I eat and stuff like that. So I couldn't burp. So that's my excuse to just get a burp, and it's an honest excuse. But I got back into the taste, and I bought more than so I had about 2 Cokes I bought from Aldi, Diet Cokes, with my Zivia, a couple of cans of Zivia, and a couple of bottles of Pepsi within a week. And I never done that, even when I was just drinking without on a carnivore. And I noticed that night, by drinking all that, and I read up on it, what could cause this. Okay, I'm getting to that later. Later that night, I remember before that I was talking about one of the benefits of this diet is not heartburn and acid reflux, which is honest, within 9 months. But that one night, I had the worst heartburn on my right side up my upper breast. And I mean, it was burning. Didn't scare me as much because I got used to heartburn months ago. But the heartburn was so bad. And I said to myself, I just got through talking about that's one of the great benefits of being on this diet. I didn't have no heartburn or acid reflux in 9 months. But all of a sudden, I had the worst heartburn. And I said, what's going on with this heartburn on the right side? I haven't had heartburn this bad since I've been on this new lifetime of style of eating. Then I had, I like to backtrack. Okay, what did I do? What did I drink? What did I eat? Was it the food? I said, no, it couldn't be the food. Then I took it all the way back. Then I thought about this. All that carbonated soda I consumed with a couple of Diet Cokes and the Diet Pepsis with the Zivia, and then coffee, which is caffeine in it, within a week. And then I put 2 to 2 together. It has to be the diet drinks, the Diet Coke. I don't think it's the Zivia. It has to be the Diet Cokes and diet drinks, because I had it for a couple of days. My time is running short, and I'm going to get more into that. Stay tuned for this. It has to be a part 2. Let's get into that in the next video, next audio.